Hello, boys and girls and children of all ages. Fat Bastard Wannabe Buddha coming at you today. Today's discussion is going to not center around any political or economic or social things because, hey, I don't really care to get involved in it right now, and maybe that's for another time. I decided that this is my blog and I can do pretty much what I want to on it. And today, what I'm going to talk about is writing. Um, Many of y'all know, maybe some of my really close friends know, that I'm a failed writer and been a failed writer all my life. That's what I wanted to do early. You know what? Not my main goal in life. My main goal in life was to become the next Leo Szilard. But that didn't work out, and I no longer have the math skills necessary in order to do that. Or there's a period of time I want to become the next Kelly Johnson, and it's still the same problem persists that my math skills are sorely mistaken, so I can't become the next Kelly Johnson. But I thought I could probably become, the next Gore Vidal. And what I wanted to do is take Noam Chomsky and Hunter S. Thompson and merge them together and become something of an advocacy left wing journalist, gonzo journalist, and that's what and somewhat novelist for a period of time. That's what I wanted to do. The main reason for this is one of my little brothers, Frederick, and me. We do this little comic book thing called Blatantly Honest Reviews of Comic Books. And recently, we have not done one since Halloween. And the reason for this is my little brother is suffering from something he calls writer's block or creativity block. I personally have never suffered from writer's block. Doesn't mean I produced anything. I stopped writing, truthfully, in around 2007, 2008, when the economy was collapsing and I was worried about saving my house, which didn't go so well. I pretty much stopped writing. The last thing I tried to make a concerted effort about getting published was a little blurb I wrote about evolutionary psychology, strippers, the fetishism of capitalism and depression, which was called Reciprocity, and it went nowhere fast. I couldn't get it published in a college newspaper or college art journal. So I might try to link that to you so y'all can see what I used to write like, and it's changed since then. But anyway, my little brother says he's suffering from creativity block, writer's block, and I don't really understand this. And this was one of the things. One of my problems as a writer is crystallized perfection. Inside my head, the writing that takes place is perfect. It's just when I put it to page, it turns into trash. And as long as I keep it inside my head, it's crystallized perfection. And it's as long as I don't bring it forth into the material realm, I'm okay, and I can do this, and I consistently tell myself stories. I haven't stopped telling myself stories. I'm still, truthfully, working over the last major project that in my head that I worked on a lot is something called the James Gang Rides Again. I basically came up with this concept around 2007, 2006, and then I've been working on it off and on. And it's basically considering around a former Green Beret team that one of its members basically loses his house and his family and ends up killing himself. And the rest of the members of the team proceeds to go throughout Missouri and rob banks and burn mortgages. So that's what I was writing and thinking about doing around 2008, 2009. And I've picked some of those elements back up when I was just rewriting, thinking maybe doing something about the common singularity, the computer singularity. I took one of the characters out of that, and I was fashioning what happens in a society in which there's a coming economical, political, and social collapse and a coming technological singularity at once. That one hasn't went anywhere. I haven't done much work on it, but I sort of got a couple of characters that I was using for my old the James Gang Rides Again. But one of the things about writing I have personally found is I am incapable of enjoying almost any other art forms. I can't watch television. I can't watch movies. The modern narratives that we are crafting, I find truthfully repellent. I am unable to. Heck, I can't even go and I haven't read a X-Men comic because I rewrote the X-Men history in the 80s and the 90s. I rewrote every bit of it. And because I did this, I'm incapable of going reading an X-Men comic or reading or watching an X-Men film. And I find it easier for characters that I absolutely despise and don't care about, like it's say in comics. I hate Iron Man. I can watch Iron Man. It's easy. I don't much care about Thor. I can watch Thor. Captain America, well, their Captain America isn't the same Captain America that I created. So, but I don't have the same love affair as I did with, say, Wolverine. And for the record, my Wolverine is basically an individual that's lived forever and who's basically a drunken pedophile. Yeah, it's not pleasant. His relationships with Kitty Pryde and Jubilation Lee and even maybe the little Power Pack girls weren't exactly kosher. Um, but one day I maybe will discuss my rewriting of Calvary, which is my X-Men history, in which I basically came up with the ultimate scheme about how to create peace and harmony in the world, and all it required is destroying all mutants and all superpower people and killing Charles Xavier at the right moment so you can imprint him upon the larger world. So that, if the guy wants to act like Jesus Christ, as Wolverine says, I'm going to be the one hammering the nails. So that's one of the things I find interesting is I got all the ideas and I got all the thoughts and stuff, but unable to, maybe it's apathy on my part. And maybe that's what my little brother is suffering from right now. It's not that he's got a block as so much as it's apathetic that I fundamentally admit that I need the audience. If I don't have the audience, I can't perform. And it's sad, but I know for a long period of times I can tell myself stories. I will always tell myself the stories because I have to in order to remain sane. But in order to bring the stories to paper, in order for me to draw, or in order for me to write, I always need my mother there in the morning to pick up the pieces of paper or the notebook and read it and tell me what she thought that evening. That's what I did for a long period of time, especially when I went back crazy during my teenage years and early 20s. My mother was there in the morning, every morning when I went on my little benders to pick up my writing, my artwork and everything, and go over it with me and talk to me about it. Whether the writing was just random tales of superhero comics or political and social and economic treatises, which I had a tendency to write when I was younger too, because I was crazy. But if I don't have the audience, I can't perform. My little brother, Frederick, says he doesn't need the audience. Hey, it comes naturally and everything. I truthfully can't rap to that. I don't suffer from writer's block because I'm always telling myself stories, but I don't put them down on paper anymore because there's no audience for it. I tried and tried and tried to get published. I tried and tried to, you know, get my ideas out there. This is one of the reasons I'm doing this vlog, and it goes nowhere fast. So anyway, that was my concepts about writing and stuff. I think I might later on go through individually some of the stories that I got mulling them out in my brain just so that I can have them physically out there in the ether of the internet. So hey, if they do get out there, I can maybe sue somebody for copyright infringement because that's the American way. Anyway, this is Fat Basher Wannabe Buddha. Thank you very much. Have a good day.